Welkom, HTOP, Kijos en Slatan. Welcome, Arnold and Lise. Good to see you everyone again. Let's wait a few minutes, like 2 minutes, and then we get started. Let's see, locally, price failed to break 50 minutes. Back to bullish, so we are pulling back again. Overall continuing this, like this local downtrend. Also why I was, like you can draw this like a range, but you have to keep in mind that this can also just be like kind of a channel, something like that. So then watching it from a range can be a little bit deceiving. But often when I draw it like this, it's more like a tree drive. It's more vertical. While like a clean range should be a bit more horizontal. Okay, let's just get started. Yesterday we had that push where I talked about that higher level, basically this whole green box, which is a big fair value gap, or like on the TPO chart, single prints right here. And yesterday we tapped into it with like a very, very, very tiny move, as you can see. Literally tapped it and then rejected from it, but like locally it gave a structure confirmation. So since it was a POI, you could have watched structure going into that level. So basically, if you take it from this low, low, high, let's see, higher low, higher high, and then 2 candles going down, an SFP, and then here the break. So this could have been a very scalpy short, but could have been worth taking it, where you take like that high, which was created late New York, so not bad timing, and then could have targeted the lower levels, which would have been a pretty banger short. I did not take it, but good to see like just structure within a PY. That is always where you want to look for potential reactions. And then if you have this structure, that's pretty good. And then I already said like yesterday, but I was not that interested in the like the RIMC right here. We had a local range first right here. And then we had the push above. So the question yesterday was as well like we have range and push higher. If I was interested in the mitigation and continuation. But since we only had like sell side liquidity right here. Okay, I wanted to keep an eye on BTC, so I'm gonna put an alert right there and at the low. Let's quickly look at the low time frame. We do not really like the low here is a London low, so the London low, as we know, is not a really good low, so it can still be taken out. We also have here some some lows. But price also just stepped into this local demand where it's now bouncing from. So keeping an eye on what we do here. Like very local structures here. And that could potentially, like if we watch it from this 1, 2, 3, basically this is a 1, 2, 3, and this low should be the protected low. However, we don't have like a good break of structure. It was more like on the 15-minute it failed. But if this is a model 1 going into model 2, then this is the protected low. And then you want to see the higher low be formed right here. So this is a level to keep an eye on. Because if we start flipping above here, then I think the low might be in. And then we have basically a lot of buy side liquidity where there's not really any strong supply. Big supply, like the only supply you have is this one left behind yesterday. But beside that, it's mostly just liquidity. So keeping an eye on that potential long. Beside that, oh, yeah, I want to see a clean break above here, and then might look for longs like there. Otherwise, I can also see this just continuing lower. And also something to look at often if you are downtrending, like this is just pretty clean low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So this can just be a lower high for a lower low. And I can also watch like what is volume doing. So here we see a spike, here we see a spike, and here we see a spike. And they are all sell candles. So strong selling right there, strong selling right here, and strong selling right here. So this attempt, you can see it kind of like bulls try to push, but sellers pushed it down again. So until proven otherwise, sellers are in control. And that's why I'm not too much in a hurry to get into longs. I want to see clean change of structure where like bulls take control. Right now it looks more like the sellers are still in control. So can just keep my alert there and then watch. Welcome Astral, Ice, Mel, and Rise Baby. Good to see all the familiar faces again. And also some new people, because quite some people are watching it right now, but like there we have Marco Zempi, good to see you. Don't forget to leave a like, guys, to the video. That would be heavily appreciated. But let's go back to what I was explaining about yesterday, where I said that we had this local range. And then if we had swept the range low, then I was more interested if we retested this range. But right now we had only like a lot of liquidity below it. And then only some demand, what was it, 10 minutes? 5 minutes? No, I'm not sure. But we had like a little demand zone right here, but that bounced from it right here. And then we broke it, and then you see that the moment we started to take out the start of the liquidity trail, basically this level right here, that all this liquidity got taken directly. And then boom, big wick down, directly taking out all that sell side liquidity. And then you once again see how liquidity rules this market. And then eventually we had this demand zone below it, which we were watching yesterday already for longs, but we front ran it. And that's where we bounced from during the night, lower high, and then had this sell-off, strong dump during London. And there I said, like, I was watching this local structure with high, low, 1, 2 candles going higher, so valid pullback, and then low, low. But since you, like this is the highest time frame you have structural, because if you go to the 30-minute, you only have one candle. So 50-minute is the highest time frame candle this structure is valid on. So then you have like low, lower, high, lower, low. And then on the 50-minute it's valid, but then you also want to see a structure break on the 50-minute. So if we look at it right here, from left to right, here you wick it, so that's a failed breakout. Then technically you have to extend your breakout structure level from this level to your next high, which is the staircasing effect. So at that point you have to break above, let's delete the view up for now, above this level. Price wicked it again. So then you extend it again to this level, and then you wick it again. So we did not have a valid 15-minute breakout structure, in which this is basically a failed breakout. And that's why I cannot long yet. If there was like a clean candle break above, then I was super interested in the long already. Right now I have to be careful because it could be just that we don't have any structure confirmations. So then it's more likely to just see this local trend continue lower until proven otherwise. So that is what I'm watching on for BTC, which is either that we break confidently above here, then look for backtest, and then basically target all this buy side liquidity into this supply, but likely take out new, like the current weekly high. Also because the weekly statistics showcase that it's pretty likely to make new weekly highs, either today or tomorrow or likely Sunday. So interested in that. Also because this is kind of like, I don't trade patterns, but this is like kind of a falling wedge type of, where if you break it, retest it, then you should go to the top of your flag pole. It's been a while that I've traded patterns, and I don't trade them, but this looks like it's aligned with what I'm watching now. And then from here, I'm interested in shorts again. If we start taking out that high, fill this single print more, then break structure, then I'm super interested in swing shorts. Until then, I don't really see a clean short right here. Missed that one on top. And in case we do take out this low again, then I'm just gonna watch what happens here in this imbalance and Monday's high retest, where we have a clean demand level, which is the value area high of this local range. We have this upwards VWAP level, the anchored VWAP, which has been support, let's see, from the start. So this was the low on April 20th. Then we had low, we tapped it down right there, bounced from it, deviated here, bounced from it. So this is like the overall upward structure. So this retest of this level is also a big level. So a few key points. And what is a bit weird is that we, like here we still have these imbalances. So if we go to the, like the hourly, you see that you have only filled it right here. So this is basically all still single prints, which is normally like, they can watch how do you come into it and then do you get a direct reaction from it that is bullish. If you stay in it, then that's more like a bearish sign. If we compare that with the Binance chart, then you can see that Binance has like perfectly filled the imbalance, which is starting from this level till there. And then it's like perfectly filled with that deep wick. So there's a really big difference between the low of Binance and the low of Bybit. The low on Bybit is 77,120, and on Binance it's 76,500. So it's like $600 difference. So on Binance, the single prints have been cleared, but on Bybit it hasn't. So that makes pretty big difference between the two, which also on a very low time frame. Like normally I would say this is like a pretty clean invalidation, but this differs a lot with the one from Binance, because this is like a pretty deep wick, and we know that often market likes to fill those wicks, at least for 50%. So if we look at that for Binance, then it would mean that we could make like a pretty deep pullback. And you already see that like this 3 drive on Bybit, it looks good, but on Binance it's not a 3 drive. It's looking way differently. So yeah, locally that makes quite a lot of difference between the outlook. Like Bybit looks pretty good to me, while Binance looks less good. So a bit hard to how to interpret that data, but yeah, just watching the same levels, and I want to see clear, so like clean break, then I trust this as the low, and then I target higher. But I'm not gonna enter on 1 minute breaks or something because of the reasons outlined below. Welcome, by the way, Sudo, Abby, and the rest was already there. Good to see a lot of people checking in. What are your settings for the VWAP? Binance stole all single print. Maybe CZ is in Discord. He's watching my he's watching me yap all the time about the single prints. So he felt it already. And welcome Map. Good to see you as well. Marco, what are your settings for the VWAP? So I have the normal VWAP, which is just standard settings. So session and yeah, the rest is just normal. And I also use anchored VWAPs, which is right here. You can find it anywhere in one of these things here, anchored VWAP. And that you can pull from like swing lows or swing highs. So you can, for example, pull it from this swing high, which is our weekly high. And then because I pulled from the high to low, you should here by input a source use high. And then that is kind of your local downtrend. And if you pull it from a low, so let's say this swing low right here, then you should set settings to low. And then that's your overall trend. So yeah, let's see how Bitcoin moves from here. Big differences between the two. And then we can watch like what is USDT doing, because on USDT we have this clean range with a nice buy side liquidity above tab 1, tab 2. So we can watch like what is price doing here. Do we either get the model 2, for example, which then is 1, 2, and then this is basically the third tab. And then if we break back above here, I would say it's confirmed, and then I expect a rotation back to the range high, in which that would mean a lot of downside for crypto. But the model 2 is not yet confirmed, so it can also, what is more likely, in my opinion, is to go for the model 1, because we have like super clean liquidity right here, where we have this local liquidity trail, which is not taken yet, and then this big fair value gap with clean demand below it. If that plays out, it would look like something like this, and then make that new low, and then come back, and then have like the 1, 2, 3, or can also be then like a bullish PO3, in which this is the manipulation. So monitoring that. And for now, it's just, yeah, this price action right here. I think we are likely to chop around a bit here and then from there get a reaction. If we watch more locally, we have local upward structure. Yeah, on the 30, on the 15, it's the same, I believe. We basically have low, high, high, low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, high. So this is our local bullish upward structure, with this being the market structure low. And we tapped into, like, this is one big supply zone right here. But I refined it to two levels, which is this supply right here, and then that one above. So right now we are in the first one. So you can see, like, do we get some sort of a model 2 or model 1 here? And if we break structure back to bearish, either here or here, then this liquidity is next. So then we go back to the lows. Or do we just continue the overall uptrend and then we can look for the reaction in this supply? Just some levels to keep an eye on. Right here, yeah, neutral bias, not anything super clear, which is similar to what I have for Bitcoin. And we can have a look what these stats are saying, because we still, let's see what are our current stats. Yeah, so we have a daily high at hour 0, which is early Asia, always a strong hour to put in a daily high or daily low. And then the low is at hour 10, which is during London, and it's a low probability low. So that also makes the case a bit stronger to still take out this low. We can watch what is the, like, low P1 flip risk. 27% of the days took out the daily high, and based on distance, 17% took out the daily high. So the daily high is pretty safe. And we can watch, like, how likely is it that our current low, which is this low, will hold. And then we can see right here, like 95% of the days form a new P2 after 10 a.m. So this low is pretty unlikely. Like 95% of the days would take out this low if the daily high holds. Well, the daily high is pretty safe, so we can assume that that daily high holds. So based on timing statistics, 95% of the days would take out this low. And based on distance statistics, if we look at the distance between the daily high and the daily low, so that's like distance from here to here is min 1.8%. Then statistics show us that 84% of the bearish days move further than min 2.3%. So combining those two, it's pretty likely to take out this daily low. So that's also why I'm super careful with longs. I want to see, like, that clean break above here, create demand, and then look for, like, a structure confirmation right here to then ride it higher. But otherwise, it's likely to still take out that low eventually. So that's based on stats, and then going to the order flow. Is there something interesting? Like on Binance, we did fill these signal prints, and this is now a buying tail. So the darker green zone, that shows a buying tail, which is like a deep wick and then buyer stepping in, showing that there's demand in those levels. And we also tapped at the weekly VWAP, wicked into it and pushed higher. So on Binance, there's definitely been a strong buyer right here. And compared to, if we watch, like, the open interest, it rose yesterday into those levels, but nothing too crazy. So it's trying to break it right now. And then cooled off a bit, but nothing, like not this high. It's not that everyone went super heavy into longs with a lot of top longers or anything. So that's why I also think we can still make our way to the highs. It would be differently if you saw that like a lot of top longers longed it right here with heavy positive delta and a lot of delta bubbles and stuff. Then you think, okay, a lot of people have been longing the top. That often means that the price will go lower and then take them out. For now, it seems like people are still pretty cautious of the move, in which I think we can make our way back up. Let's see. Price is breaking internal back to bullish. So creating some demand. Okay, so locally this is pretty interesting. Let's go to the 5. And here you can see that it moved down a lot of forced selling. So these are probably a lot of longs or like big positions being liquidated, therefore became forced sellers, aka market sellers, in this week. And someone absorbed it because price bounced higher. So someone has been absorbing price here. Only on Binance, because on Bybit we did not go that low. So probably a big player was in long positions, got wiped out, got liquidated on this move, causing price to spike lower than on other exchanges. And someone took advantage of that by buying it up. Then locally, open interest is going down. And you can see that like a lot of like open interest wiped lower. A big drop in the perps. So big positions, perp positions got stopped out. So likely what I'm telling, like the big long positions got wiped out. Also like spot was not little drop in spot, but much bigger in perps. And then you see that heavy negative delta right here. So likely that a big player got wiped out, and someone absorbed it. So okay, that's the strength we want. Now I'm gonna look for longs. Let's see. This looks just like a different chart, but how you can also see it is that on Binance this was boom from left to right. This got retested. So what if this is like this was the range, initiation, mitigation, potential continuation, which aligns with the overall main bullish structure, high, higher low, higher high, anywhere a higher low right here for a higher high. Then it's now testing the VWAP again, which has been resistance the whole day. Down, back at the VWAP. Okay, now we're gonna watch the low time frame. Because the question will be, are we gonna enter? And if we enter, where is the stop loss? We have perps going in a bit. Session view up above. Like, will bulls be able to push it from here? Or is this another failed attempt? And then it nukes much lower. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give the long an attempt. Because it's basically doing what I wanted to see. So I did 3.8 to a new weekly high. I'm gonna use this as my invalidation, which is basically the session low, and then hoping that this low holds. And then you have to keep in mind that it can also be like a go to like this directly, but that's the risk of the game. I think it's worth it. So let me see if I can enter. As always, not financial advice, and be willing to be stopped out the moment you press green. Be open for a direct stop out. Okay, I'm in right here. We can also come back for this demand and then go higher. But for me, this invalidation is pretty clean. I think if we take out this low again, that we also take out the daily low, because there's basically only liquidity below. Here we had a little demand mitigation, and there's no demand below that level. So yeah, I think if we take out this low, that we will make new lows. So then, like, you could use this low, but right now I think it's the same to use this low as that low. If that sounds a bit, let's see, where's the chat? We were 1 minute max from BTC now. The Sailor absorption. Yeah, let's see if it's Sailor. I have no idea if he was buying this week. And like, technically, if we watch the 15, for example, then we had to staircase it. So this was the staircase right here. So basically this was, we want to have like on the 15, it's safer if we get a break above this level right here. No, no, the horizontal market structure level. Then on the 45, 15, like you are creating demand right here. So you can also come back. Like, it could be that you, preferably you break above here. So you get that 15-minute internal bullish break. And then you can still come back for demand here and then push higher. So different ways to play it. But yeah, in case we go, I'm willing to take the loss if it turns into a loss. DDT absorption. I'm gonna. It is that I'm already in. Otherwise, I would try my best to pump it higher. If we break above and then come back, then I might add to the position, because that will be kind of like an range, break, retest, continue. And this is all buy side liquidity. So the moment we start breaking above, it could accelerate pretty quickly. And I still think that most people are short biased, but I don't see this as a. I would be very surprised if this is our high. So let's see. My TP will just be, I think literally the weekly high. I'm just gonna take profit there, and then from there gonna watch, do we form distribution or not, and then look for shorts. Let's see what locally is happening. Yeah, it's good. I like this that this big player got wiped. So often they get wiped, and then they can be used as well to push price higher again. Okay, Kijos is in. Then we can pump. If you want to get in, guys, do it fast. So if Kijo is filling his orders, we are definitely gonna push. I'm gonna manifest 799999. Yeah, it would also be nice. Like if we zoom out, let's do that on a clean chart. Like it definitely has legs to go higher. Like just ignoring, if we just ignore everything, like the mud distribution, blah blah blah, just look at structure. Low, high, high, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Potential higher, low here for another high, high. The longer you keep doing this, the more likely it is that you eventually reverse. But sometimes it doesn't have to be that difficult. And if we watch it from like the Binance chart here, we basically had like low, lower high, lower low, break, and then technically low, high, low, break above, in which, and it's a bit sad that it's only on Bybit, on Binance and not really on Binance. But this is like, if it was everywhere, then this is like a super bullish reaction from that demand mitigation. Because this whole zone is basically your range demand. Range demand. So here, if you broke back from bullish break from left to right, retest it, continue. So yeah, let's see what it wants to do. Yeah, hopefully it pushes higher. And if it stops me out, then I'm just gonna watch the levels down below here. But like this is the kind of trade that I rather take the loss by being stop out than that I'm pre-planning it all and it does what I want and that I see it go to new weekly highs and that I'm not in. So yeah, happy to take the loss. more happy to take the win. But if I take the loss, then I'm just gonna look from these lower levels again. And is USDT is then also going a bit lower, where this is our main structure, which is basically the like this one, high, higher low, higher high. So break that back to bearish, and then there's nothing but liquidity right here. But if we watch more locally, then we have this internal uptrend, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then price came into supply, and then here technically already broke this upwards structure back to bearish right here. And you can watch what did price leave behind. Then I see we had supply right here, which got mitigated right there. And now we are breaking it from this low, trying to break it back to bearish. So while also having supply. So locally, this looks pretty bearish because we have a bearish break of structure back to bearish, and we are creating a supply chain where this supply got mitigated, reacted from, creating new supply. Which means that if price comes back here, it's likely that you reject from it again and then go lower. Come back above here, and then it's likely to invalidate it. So you can also watch what happens if you could get to those levels. Love seeing the thought process of getting in them into. Cool. Now I hope for even more for you guys that it works out than I do it for myself. Super valuable seeing the thought process. Yeah, I think the thought process is often the most important behind it. So what I would love to see, then I feel like we are safe, is to get that push above the current highs. We are still a bit struggling around that VWAP. But like break above, then I expect us to be in a pretty safe position. We need the bulls to push a bit higher. So if someone has a big account, go market long. Then we can have a laugh. Yeah, it's looking pretty good, I think. Then we can also watch, is there something else interesting to watch? So we have BTC, USDT looks pretty good for lower. Gold, yeah, so we still have that same range with the Model 1. And then early in the week we had this little tree drive, which was already the lower high. So I had hoped to see this and then look for shorts, but unfortunately we did not get it. And then we had this acceleration lower. And now we potentially have a new range in the making, so we can watch what how price behaves into it. Where you have basically tab 1 at the low and tab 1 at the high. And then this is our ultimate low. And that's what is always nice if you have like a local range. First of all, local internal ranges are not to be trusted, basically. So if they want to play, then they have to be super, super clean. But let's say you have this and you get like tap 2, and then have like a high probability formation, and then your third tap, so it's basically this, and then your third tap of this model aligns with a second tap of your main range. So basically this tap 2, while this is your tap 3, then that's a super, super nice confluence to have. And then especially if we have like liquidity trail and stuff like that, then it's even better. But for now, it's too early to call for that. For now, all we can do is observe what happens at the high and at the low and see if anything happens. Besides that, not really interesting. Till like the low, the high, the main range low, or if we take out the liquidity right here. Then let's look at the crypto pairs. What is ETH doing? So ETH yesterday came, like if we zoom out, we have 1, 2, 3 potential model 1. So then you can always watch, like, is this already the potential model 1 into model 2? Could be the case. But once again, here also structure remains bullish. So I don't know. I feel like so many people are too stuck in their distribution mindset. Well, if the distribution is in, then you will eventually know it, and then we can just play it from there. For now, I think like ETH looks a bit more bearish than Bitcoin does, to be honest. Because yesterday we tapped the range high, and then we flipped the hourly structure back to bearish. So we had basically, we had an accumulation right here, and then zoom in, did we had clean structure? So we had that 1, 2, 3, 4, basically our absorption formation, and then basically from low up, high, high, low. This is an inside candle, so that's not valid. And then here, high, low, high, high, and that broke back to bearish. So that's a pretty bearish sign if you push up and then directly afterwards break your hourly structure back to bearish again. And now price is basically in this demand range, which was range with an accumulation right here. Push could also be a mitigation for a continuation higher again. So locally in demand, but this supply is a big level to watch. If you get a move into it and then a structure break again, then you have basically break 1, and then this is your break 2, and then I will definitely look for shorts because you have a lot of liquidity below. But I can also just see like ETH loves to always give deep pullbacks where you think it's breaking, it's gonna break structure. Then in the end, it's just a deep higher low, and then it reverses. So that can also be the case right here. We have like high low, higher high, and then deep retrace to eventually still make a new high. So a few different levels to watch at ETH, and yeah, I can say it's going to new highs or it's going to new lows, but I simply have to watch what happens if we come here. If we break below here, then then this could already be the lower high. But for now, just watching what it's gonna do. Okay, Okay, let's have a look at the... Okay, we are having some resistance. You see those here, we at the VWAP we had those wicks, then we sold off, and right now we again have those wicks to the upside. So there's a battle going on right here just between the bulls and the bears. Let's have a look at the chat. Have you ever looked at Tom? Yes, but that's months and months ago. I only focus on my watch list, basically. I feel like this is a long-term alt worth keeping an eye on. Yeah, it can be, can definitely be, but I'm a bit autistic with my watch list. I truly only care what these coins do. Also for peace of mind. I know that I'm driving myself crazy if I add all different coins, because then it feels like I'm always falling behind, and then I feel like falling behind, and then I just get internal conflicts. So I just want a few coins, and then I know that that I'm at my best. But I can have a look at it in the future. We also flipped daily POC from MMT, and yesterday we have a London pivot too. Let's see. Yeah, indeed. Let's just ask the bulls to give it a god candle. Like they just need to give it a little push here, and then these liquidations and these, they will do the rest. So if someone has a spare 100 million, or maybe like a 10 million with 10x, to give a little spike above like the start of this liquidity trail right here, then the shorts will do the rest. I see someone is already pushing, so thanks for that. Put in some more orders, and then it should be fine. The dream. Imagine wanting to short everything. Yeah. Eventually shorts make sense, but I know people that have been waiting for shorts and only been looking for shorts since here. But then you are just limiting yourself so much, because eventually it will come. But people have been like here 1, 2, 3. Oh, it was a valid one. But if it invalidates, that's bullish. The field distribution is bullish. And now people keep drawing the same distributions over and over again. But yeah, if it comes, it will come. But like even here, let's say the high is in. We make one new high. We do this. Then this is our market structure low. Or let's say the high is already in. But then if we break below here, then you break your structure. Then any retrace or anything, it can be a short, because then you have this crazy liquidity trail. But it just like ignoring all structures and only be fixated on the shorts. Yeah, I think to me it makes no sense. And when it comes, structure confirms it. You have literally from, like, let's say it confirms below 74. Then you have from 74 till like low 60s. It's $15,000 difference in BTC price to position yourself in shorts. Because the moment we start closing below here, it's likely to pretty quickly go lower. But then you have all the time of the world. I love trading Tron in 24. I haven't checked the chart in ages. Yeah, I remember I've traded it as well. It had pretty clean models back then. I have no idea. I will have a look in a minute. It may be fun to look at. Is Tom Lee still buying? Yeah, I believe he bought, but he's only buying ETH, I believe. But he bought again like 100 or 200 million a few days ago. I keep a close eye on the ecosystem. Personally, I think it will have a good run. Next bull, they are building well and integrating AI to their apps too. Cool. Yeah, I will keep an eye on it. I focus fully on trading and a lot of like day trading, so I'm not in fundamentals and stuff anymore. But yeah, if you are and you do you have done research on it, then it's definitely interesting to keep an eye on. According to Matt, it's a shitcoin to trade. I'm still holding two, still have reader VG props down like. Okay, so BTC is it's looking pretty good now. That we have that 15-minute break. We are back above the VWAP, which rejected here. So yeah, looking pretty good. What I do expect is that we either it can squeeze pretty hard since we have all this buy side liquidity. What it can also do is to come back here, but basically this whole box is now demand. So don't start stressing if we come back here. This is technically can just be a bullish retest before higher. And if we now start taking out my stop loss, then then I'm just gonna call it a scam because it does all the reasons right now to push higher. But thanks for the guys that are listening and pushing the green button because we are doing exactly what we want to see. Okay, let me quickly look at the other crypto pairs and then I'm gonna look at Ton. So yeah, ETH, just watching some levels. I think bears, if we break above this high, they have little to no case anymore. Then I would not be surprised if it shoots hard higher. Hype, yeah, still the same view. Mainly interesting shorts right here. Also have an alert at this liquidity trail here, which is the buy side liquidity, and then we have this imbalance. So take out this, show weakness, and also interesting shorts. And yeah, longs, not really, but I haven't looked at it anymore. But it seems like Kijos was talking about it. It looks like the very local Model 1 played out. So I had a quick look at it, but I zoomed out and I was just seeing like this liquidity and that, so I was not really interested in trading it. But it did have the tree drive, so let's see if it was tradable. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, extended tabs. Tab 1, tab 2, local tree drive to push price into the third tab. Ooh. Clean, 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 clean. So this is what you also often have. So then after your tab 2, price goes high and then, oh, that's good. And then you see a distribution against you and then you think, oh shit, I'm fucked. But this can be just a reason that the market maker wants to push price down one more time. to create that model 2 or that model 1. In this case, the model 1. And watch how price moved into the third tab. Low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, break. So here you basically break it. Bullish break. So that is technically your could have been your entry. Let's see, 2 candles, 1 candle. So then it's 10-minute structure. So the 10-minute bulls. So technically, after your confirmation, you could enter. Stop loss, third tab. Target minimum the range high for 2.4 hour. So this would have been a valid trade. Simple trade as always, basically. Once you start seeing the ranges, then it's basically like the context is always important. So where are you? But in the end, it's just like always the same, the 3 tab. And then here you see that it's likely gonna play out again for a nice 2.4 hour. So let's see then, yeah, just can use this as an example. And Tao is still in the same range. So nothing changed to that as well. But yeah, hype again, throwing models everywhere. It's crazy. I'm in a lot on hype. DJs, I'm proud. You are killing it. Almost a TP, just scalpy. Yeah, nice. And this was also like this third tab. Like you had that move down and then that break of structure and then super clean invalidation. You don't want to lose this low because also below that low you have all this liquidity. So if you would have gone lower than here, then you would have probably cascaded directly down, taking all this sell side liquidity. So if you then have this, like this is textbook basically. To have a model 1 with like low, lower high, lower low, and then break. That's the structure you want. Basically textbook. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's for the fun. Just want to say thanks, Didi. We'll be signing up for the premium shortly. Great. You don't have to thank me. It's yeah, fun to do with a group of people, and yeah, it's also my passion. So lovely to be able to do this. Was always a dream, and now it's kind of being a reality, which sometimes you don't really realize, but it's good to do from time to time. So no need to thanks. And I would love to see you in the premium. You won't regret it, I think. There goes my hype TP. You TP'd at smart, the extreme liquidity. Smart. Let's have a look at a ton for the fun. Let's just look at Let's look what on the daily. This one still has a 10th of October crazy week. This chart is wrecked. Let's see. Like just some horizontals. I like to do that if you have like heavy downtrends. Basically, this was your range breakdown, range breakdown. So these are horizontal, very important levels to keep an eye on. And I'm just ignoring this wick. Price filled it for 50%, so then ignoring it. The overall, like low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we have clean downtrend on the daily. I will draw this as my range. We have a naked low, which is not really what you want. We have equal highs. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, like from a pure TA perspective, it looks pretty shit. Like it's just trending down on every time frame. So like sellers are heavily in control. And until that changes, it's more likely to continue the trend. So until proven otherwise, it's likely that every range breaks lower until it breaks upwards. And then you also don't have like, if you start showing accumulative behavior, then it can be a sign that it's gonna change. But for that you want to have like don't have these naked lows. So if you did this, that's what you want to see. Or like you don't always have to take out the absolute low, but what you then want to see is that like you start to accumulate from here, for example. So that you have 1, 2, 3, for example, that this is your internal accumulation. And then sometimes that can also be enough to push price higher. But right now it lacks all of that. So I don't think the bottom is in here. Recharge my laptop. But yeah, always before the how to say that? Before the tides change, it looks most shit. But yeah, fundamentally it can be good, but technically it still does not look that good. But that can change if you get like if like this is your range, and then this is your deviation threshold. Like maybe price does this higher low and then breaks above. Then this was basically your accumulation range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. And then that might be the start of an uptrend. And then things can change. But until then, yeah, it does not look good. Simple as that. Let's see, is there something going on the low time frame? Yeah. Okay, welcome, Dylan. I'm about to close it. We identified some charts. BTC did what I wanted to see, so I'm long on Bitcoin. We tapped into this demand, then started breaking internal structure back to bullish, and we now also broke like the one we were watching first, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. That one we broke now also finally confidently back to bullish. So yeah, I'm long, clean invalidation, targeting a new weekly high. Since we have a lot of buy side liquidity above. If I can also see a retrace here and higher. And of course it can also just roll over, take me out. But yeah, this was a trade I had to take. And happier to take the loss than not be in. So let's see what happens. Then if there are no questions, I don't have much more else to say. Besides, yeah, let it run. Don't risk more than you are willing to lose. And yeah, if it stops you out, just accept the loss. But so far it has the ingredients to push higher. You can watch what is the. Like you could still make the case that your main structure here is low, lower high, low low, lower high, low low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So last case that the bears here can make is that this is the main internal bearish structure. So technically this could still be, it could even sweep it for a lower high, for a lower low. That could be the case. But beside that, it looks pretty good. It's not, it's doing what we want to see. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna set an alert here. I have to go to training, so I will not be there for a few hours this evening. But basically, I expect it to be a pretty smooth move all the way to at least this high. Because this is all just liquidity. So there's not any super strong supply here that I think, oh, that's gonna give a big reversal. Unless this one above. But overall, looking at stats and stuff, I think we can make a new weekly high. And from there, I'm super interested in shorts. So let's see if we can get that. Slaat good. You're in as well. Yes, Kijos is on a fucking streak. Happy to see. What you training? Football. At least football, but I also do like gym and stuff beside it. But like 3 times in a week football. But it's nothing special. Just for fun. And thanks everyone for tuning in. I love to see the same people and same stuff and the active chat. So hopefully the trade plays out, and else we take the loss and just look for new trades tomorrow, as always. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and see you guys in the Discord. Cheers.